heart fluttered at the thought of Porter being my husband. We'd known each other less than a year, been swept away in a sea of unimaginable love, faced seemingly insurmountable obstacles, and still managed to end up here, at the ocean where everything had begun. He was my calm and steady surf when storms and winds had raged around me. When everything in my life had been confusing and torturous, Porter had been the one who always brought me back around to my center. He was the only thing I had ever needed. I came around the side of the cabana to find him lounging back, hands behind his head, biceps deliciously taut, legs crossed at the ankles, admiring the ocean that was every shade of blue imaginable, including the midnight blue it became after dark. Say what you like about how we met, how fast it all happened, but when his body was on display for me like this, I welcomed every hurdle we'd ever jumped over to be together. He was made for me, exclusively. He was breathtakingly beautiful, and just seeing him like that, relaxed and unburdened, only made my insides melt into a hot puddle of lust. "You're beautiful." I thought I'd spoken my thoughts aloud, but then realized I hadn't said them at all. But he had said the same thing about me. I hadn't noticed when his eyes found me, because I'd been preoccupied with him. My eyes finally met his, and the tether that tied us together, something that held me to him, tugged at my center and pulled me toward him. His white swimming shorts matched the lingerie I was wearing, and as I straddled his waist, our centers melded into one another. I ran my hands up along his chest, my fingers grazing through the soft smattering of hair, and my eyes caught his. "Hello, wife," he said with the most loving smile upon his face, his eyes sparkling up at me. "Hello, my husband," I whispered back. His hands came to my hips, fingering the single string that held on the triangle of lace. I felt the roughness of his hands continue down my thighs and circle back to grab my ass. His grip forced me forward, and I pressed my chest to his, resting atop him, his hands still running over my sensitive skin, my hands finding their way to run through his dark hair. "I love you, you know." Our faces were just inches from each other, my voice a quiet whisper caught in the breeze that feathered over us, gently moving the curtains of the cabana. His response was simply to lift his head and softly bump the tip of his nose against mine. "Ella?" I snapped out of my daydream to see the same sparkling eyes still staring back at me. I smiled and tipped up to kiss him. "Sorry, I was thinking about Bora Bora." I smiled knowingly at him. His eyes widened in recognition. "I miss Bora Bora," he said quietly. "Well, I could have recreated the experience for you, but you ripped off my pretty bridal lingerie," I said with mock irritation. I loved it when he ripped things off my body. It was an expensive habit, but I wouldn't make him change it for anything. "I'll have plenty of chances to ruin more pretty things as long as we're making babies." "And even if we're not, I hope." He smiled and nodded. "But since we are, no lifting. Honestly, Ella, you've got to take care of yourself." I chose to remain quiet and not argue. Instead, I kissed him gently and moved on to hang garments on hangers, a task he couldn't possibly find fault in. After a few minutes of working quietly together, I heard the door to the shop open and looked up. Callie walked in, smiling broadly, looking fantastic. "Cal, what are you doing here? I thought you were in Seattle for a few weeks." I walked quickly over to her and wrapped her in a hug, thankful to have my friend back unexpectedly. "Megan wanted me to come and try on bridesmaids' dresses, so I decided to make a weekend of it. Aren't you coming?" She hasn't said anything to me, but that doesn't mean I'm not going. It's probably on my calendar and I didn't pay attention. "I'm so excited to see you." I hugged her again. Besides Porter, Callie was one of the things brought into my life in the last year that I was so thankful for. In the most tumultuous time of my life, Callie offered an instant friendship that grounded me when I couldn't remember a part of my life. She listened to my worries and concerns and believed me. She was the one person in my life who I knew was being completely honest with me and didn't have any ulterior motives. "Hello, Porter," Callie said, walking toward him. He gave her a hug and smiled at her. "Hey, Callie."